hero without powers. What if the thing that made you a hero was taken away overnight? For 10 years, the city of Eris had a guardian who could fly faster than jets and stop bullets with his bare hands. His name was Solaris. But this isn't a story about how he got his powers. It's about the day he lost them and what he discovered underneath. His name was Evan Hale. Before the Cape, he was just a quiet kid from the south side of the city, overlooked, pushed around, forgotten. Then, on his 17th birthday, a solar storm struck him in the street. He should have died. Instead, he woke up 3 days later with the power to fly, to lift cars, to hear cries for help from miles away. For the first time in his life, people saw him, not as Evan, as Solaris. He loved it, the cheers, the headlines, the way people whispered his name like a prayer. But underneath the golden suit, Evan carried one quiet fear, that without his powers, he'd be nothing again. Then came Vexor, a scientist who believed superheroes made people weak. People don't need gods in capes, he warned. They need to learn how to save themselves. Nobody listened until he built the Null Engine, a machine designed to drain superhuman power. Solaris confronted him at sunset. He never saw it coming. A ring of black light tore through his body, pulling out his strength, his heat, his light. He fell. Not like a hero, not like a god, like a man. He crashed through the roof of an abandoned warehouse and didn't move for a long time. When Evan opened his eyes, he tried to lift a steel beam off his leg. Nothing. He tried to fly. Nothing. He reached for the powers that had defined him for 10 years and found only silence and his own frightened breathing. By morning, the headlines were everywhere. Solaris defeated, powers gone, city's greatest hero falls. Crowds gathered outside hospitals and news stations, all asking the same question. Who would protect them now? Evan watched from a small hideout, his torn suit on the floor. For 3 days, he didn't leave. His phone rang constantly. The mayor, the police chief, even children asking if he was okay. He ignored all of it. He just sat in the dark, staring at hands that used to hold up bridges, and now trembled pouring a glass of water. On the 4th day, someone knocked. Evan told her to go away. She came in anyway. Her name was Mara, the very first person Evan had ever saved, pulled from a burning building years ago. "Is that what you think made you a hero?" she asked. Evan laughed bitterly. "The flying helped." Mara leaned in. "When you saved me from that fire, it wasn't your strength I remember. It wasn't the cape. It was your voice. You held my hand and said, 'I've got you. Don't be afraid.'" Before she left, she gave him the line that would change everything. The city doesn't need Solaris because he can fly. It needs him because he shows up. The next morning, a tunnel collapsed downtown. Dozens trapped below. Evan watched the news and thought, "I can't do anything." Then he saw a little boy crying near the entrance, his mother trapped underneath. Something older than power moved in him. He grabbed a flashlight and ran. An officer tried to stop him. Evan pulled down his hood. "Not today," he said. "Today I'm just Evan. But I know these tunnels better than anyone. Let me help." Inside, the darkness swallowed him. He couldn't lift the rubble blocking their path, not anymore. But he remembered a maintenance passage from 10 years of flying over this city. He led the rescue team through it. They found 23 people trapped. A little girl named Lena. A mother who couldn't walk. Evan knelt beside Lena and said the words Mara remembered. "I've got you, Lena. Don't be afraid. This time, the words didn't come from his powers. They came from him. He carried the injured mother on his back, every step burning, his knees nearly giving out. When a young man got pinned under fallen metal and Evan couldn't lift it alone, he didn't run. He called for help, and together, 3 ordinary people freed him just as the ceiling came down behind them. Evan stumbled out into daylight, bloodied and barely standing. Behind him came the survivors, alive, one by one. A reporter shoved a microphone at him. "Solaris, how did you save them without your powers?" For years, he would have had a perfect, heroic answer ready. This time, he just told the truth. "I didn't save them alone. We saved them together." Evan never got his powers back. Instead, he trained with firefighters, learned first aid, and helped rebuild his city, not by showing kids how strong he was, but how strong they could be. Slowly, the whole city changed. Neighbors started checking on neighbors. The city became braver, not because Solaris had powers, but because he'd lost them. Weeks later, Vexa returned, this time attacking with fear itself, hijacking every screen in the city. "Look at your fallen hero," he sneered. "Weak, human, breakable." But this city didn't panic. Firefighters geared up, doctors prepped, citizens moved to help each other. And Evan walked into the square, no armor, no cape, surrounded by the people he'd helped. Mara, Lena, firefighters, teachers, all of them standing beside him, not behind him. "You were right about one thing," Evan told Vexa. "People don't need gods in capes. But you were wrong about fear making people stronger. People become stronger when someone believes they can be. My real strength was never flying. It was caring enough to show up." Vexa's plan fell apart before it began, stopped not by a superhero, but by the city itself, united. Months later, Evan still dreamed of flying sometimes. He missed the wind, the clouds, the sunlight in his veins, but he didn't feel empty anymore. One evening, Lena asked him, "Do you ever wish you could fly again?" "Yes," he said honestly. She nodded. "Me too." Then she looked up at him. "You're still my hero, you know. Because the strongest heroes aren't always the ones in the sky. Sometimes they're the ones standing beside you, bleeding, afraid, human, but still willing to take your hand and say, 'I've got you.'" And that's how the world remembered Solaris. Not as the hero who lost his powers, but as the man who proved that courage was never a superpower. It was a choice, and anyone can make it.